Thank you. That was awesome. Everybody's quiet. I just want to say thank you so much, all of you, for coming this afternoon to honor my mom and be there for my sister and I, Karina. I'm Laura, if you haven't met me already. Usually people be like, isn't the older... No, when the younger one is the talkative one, the yappy one, she gets to do it. So here we are. I thought we're going to have a couple of speeches this afternoon. At first I wanted to explain, maybe you noticed, actually Karina, come over here so we can, I have this live stream as well, that Karina and I are both wearing Dalhousie University sweatshirts. What's up with that? The story behind that is the very last thing that Mom did was that she had her body donated to science, so it went to Dalhousie Department of Medicine, and we wanted to honor her by wearing our Dal sweaters. So that's what that was. And with that explained, I don't think there was anything else I needed to say. Do you two want to find a place, or?
I'm okay right here.
You're okay over there? Okay.
There's a few chairs in the back there if you want.
I'm a supporting Karina.
We will get started. Marcos has, this is my, in case you're wondering, this is my husband Marco, and then our children, this is Levi, Nate, Sean, his girlfriend Anika, and my daughter Emma Lynn. So all the grandchildren. I live in Prince Edward Island, so it's really nice to be all here with you, and the people that are looking from Ontario. We have family here all the way from the Netherlands. We're very excited about it. I will not forget this time. Uncle John is here all the way from Alberta. And we have, I consider them family, but they are friends. The Wawaras have come all the way from Ontario. So without further ado, I'm going to invite my husband to come up and share a devotional he's written for us, with us. Thanks.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Very impressed. You're gathered here today to remember and celebrate Martha Marianna Hope. Maybe you didn't realize that her first name was actually Martha. I didn't know that until relatively recently. And she was my mother-in-law for the better part of 23 years. Now, she didn't like the name Martha. In fact, she probably hated that I'm mentioning it now. So she went by her middle name, Marianna, instead. Now, if you're familiar with the biblical character Martha, sister to Mary and Lazarus, you might think that the name actually a pretty good fit for Marianna. Because if you read about them, that family, in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, we see Martha working hard, very busy, while her sister sat and listened to Jesus. And that's what Marianna was like. She was almost always busy. Cooking something, cleaning something, making something, sewing something, organizing something, going somewhere, helping someone. Busy. That's the sort of person that she was. Not someone who liked to sit still for long at all. But she still wanted to go and clean houses after she turned 80. That's completely wild to me. I bet that most of us aren't anxious to go and clean houses now. I'm not. Now, Marianna, she was also someone who tried to live by the Ten Commandments and the Golden Rule, which Jesus stated as, do to others as you would have them do to you. Now, in essence, that rule sums up all the key commandments and the laws and rules that the Bible teaches and that we should live by. And if you're following the Golden Rule, I mean, this makes sense. And we would all be better off living that way. I mean, you don't likely want to be stolen from, or lied to, or cheated on, or murdered. I'm assuming that none of us here are eager for those things to happen to us. So why would we do any of them to anyone else? Now, of course, it goes a lot further than just not doing murders and robberies. That should hopefully go without saying. But do we actually treat those around us as we want to be treated? Do we offer help when we see a need? Do we use kind and gentle words even when we might feel angry and we want to be harsh and aggressive? Do we forgive others when they have done us wrong? That's what it actually means to follow the golden rule. It all sounds really good, but it's sure not easy. Now, I'm not going to stand up here and pretend that Marianna was perfect at that. This is not going to suggest that I am, or that any of us are. We all fall far short of that. But just because you aren't perfect doesn't mean you give up. And one thing that I can definitely tell you about Marianna Hope, that she is someone who did not give up. She went through breast cancer. She didn't give up. And a brain tumor. She didn't give up. More cancer. More illness. She still didn't give up. She kept on going. Even when things did not go her way, it did not go according to plan. There's a good lesson there for all of us. It's easy to give up and give in when things go wrong, when the road gets difficult, when obstacles start to feel insurmountable. And that's the natural human reaction. It's not surprising when we do give up. It's more surprising when we endure. Marianna endured. For almost 81 years, she endured through challenges and illnesses, through good times and bad. She endured until her body finally wore out and wore down. Such is the way of this life. I'm thankful for the opportunity I had to get to know her and to enjoy her hospitality over these last couple of decades. And I'm thankful that she, and along with her late husband Gary, raised a couple of wonderful daughters, one of whom I'm married to. I'm thankful for all of that, and for the lessons that I've learned from her. And I'll leave you with this. As you remember her at this time, and in the days and years ahead, be sure to keep in mind what you learned from her. Because we all provide some manner of instruction to those around us. Maybe we provide a shining example, or an encouraging lesson, or maybe we serve instead as a horrible warning. We all get to be a teacher, a lesson to someone, maybe a lot of someone's. What sort will you be? Thank you.
And someone I happen to forget that came all the way from Ontario as well is Katie, my cousin. Did I catch? Katie! I'm already well known for having missed Uncle John last. I will not try to miss anybody else. I also have friends here from PEI. We have Emily, we have Rachel, Denise, Amber. I don't know where they are, so if I'm going, there's Denise. Who? And Amber's back there. Yes, I think I caught everybody now. That's good. Thank you. Next we will have Luke.
Good afternoon. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm on the part of the family where when we ask to speak a few minutes, that will will last a bit longer, but I'm sure you're home before dark. I'm here with my wife, Christian, and my mother and Marianna, Frank, and John, their mother, were sisters. Lest we forget is a Southern phrase meaning so that we don't forget. This phrase is carved in stone at the Canadian War Cemetery in Holten, a little village in the east of the Netherlands. On a big wall placed at the entrance of the cemetery, it also says, "Their name lived forevermore." Buried in this cemetery are among 1,400 young Canadian men, soldiers, who gave their lives to liberate Netherlands in the 44-45. Young men who took a brave decision to cross the ocean and helped us to get free after 5 years of German occupation. Over the past decade, more than 100 volunteers have dedicated themselves to uncover the personal stories of all young men buried there. Their motto is, quote, "Keeping memories alive is what we're here committed to," unquote. They ensure that these memories of stories associated with the Canadian Cemetery in Holten stay alive and share for generations, now and in the future, lest we forget. Last week in the Netherlands, on the 4th of May, we have our yearly National Remembrance Day. It's a solemn day to honor all civilians and soldiers who have died in the war or during peacekeeping since World War II. At exactly 8 o'clock in the evening, the entire country pauses for 2 minutes in silence. But that day is followed by the Liberation Day at 5th of May. At that day we celebrate the end of World War II. Till today, this Liberation Day is also attended by Canadian veterans, insofar as they're still alive. They're part of the parade and still receive our gratitude, so well deserved. It underpins the strong bond we Dutchies still have with Canada. In the summer of 2017, Marianna and Gary visited the Netherlands for the Writer reunion and stayed with us in Hilversum for 2 weeks. It was then that the 4 of us and our daughter visited this war cemetery in Holten. It was a bright, sunny day with blue sky, and the among 1,400 gravestones systematically placed in rows made a deep impression on us. Even more when we were shown around by a guide who was able to tell us the background of some of the young soldiers buried at the various graves. Also young men from Nova Scotia. At that time, in 2017, the volunteers had traced the background and origins of more than 800 soldiers, so their grave had been given a face. On the way home, Marianne and I were still impressed by the visit, and I remember that I led us to a conversation about how our parents and grandparents had survived the war. Especially because a number of them were also heavily involved in resistance and had gone through anxious time. That was in 2017, but our friendship with Marianna and Gary, the bond with all our family in Canada, goes back much further. It was my Uncle Marius and Aunt Annie, my mother's sister, who after the war took then a brave decision to also cross the ocean, but the other way around, to start a new life here in Canada, leaving everything dear to them behind, on their way to a new, partly unknown life. From my earliest childhood, I grew up knowing that we had family in Canada. My mother and her sister Annie stayed connected. A strong bond had grown during their youth, that remained intact until their death. This also meant that my Aunt Annie sometimes visited the Netherlands, sometimes on her own, sometimes with Uncle Marius, and next to that, they also called each other occasionally by phone. Reminiscing about brought back fond memories and plenty of laughter. And I can tell you from experience, the sisters could talk and talk and talk. It looked like they never stopped. My mother said, literally translated, at the end of Annie's visit, we need scissors to trim the frayed edges of our lips. Personally, I became even more connected to Canada through my sport. I played hockey, your hockey, and at the age of 17, I made it onto the first team of my hometown and earned some money with it. But our team also included about 10 Dutch Canadians, double passport, young players who came over from Canada to strengthen our team during the season. The language spoken in the locker room was English. And with my first money I earned with my sport, I paid my first trip to Canada. In the summer of '79, I went to Toronto together with one of my Dutch teammates to visit some of my Canadian teammates. My mother pointed out to me that Marianna, who I've never met yet, lived in Newmarket, and that I should visit her. But that did not happen then. As a youngster of 18, you want to hang out with your teammates and not visit a cousin you never met. But that changed in 1982. Our Aunt Annie came back to the Netherlands on one of her visits, but this time together with Marianna and Marianne. They stayed at our place for a while and we had a really good time. And yes, again, we talked and talked and talked. If I look back, in my experience, this is where, for me personally, the seed was planted for our close friendship with the family overseas. And in '87, Gretchen and I decided to visit Canada and went on what I would call a family tour. We visited John and Judy in Calgary, Marianna and Gary in Newmarket, and of course the farm. Annie and Marius and Holly and Frank. Many trips followed. We even spent part of our honeymoon in Nova Scotia. In respect of Marianna and Gary, when loved ones pass away, immediately brings back memories. For us, Gretchen and I, sweet memories. And there are many. Too much for this afternoon. At our visits in Newmarket, we slept in the basement, played Pictionary and pool billiard, and together with other friends of them, we played Trivial Pursuit. Gary even bought a real cup we played for, of what he announced at a certain evening, quote, "This evening we played a Newmarket Trivial Pursuit Cup, man against the women." To Marianna's frustration, the man won. And the rest of the evening she kept accusing us of cheating. And when Marianne and Gary decided to leave the rat race, as Marianne calls it, and move back to the farm, we were there for the farewell party. And of course there was Rita. At some point, somewhere during one of our visits, I found a cassette tape in the living room of a certain Rita McNeil. Marianne was in the kitchen, so I asked Gary, "Who is Rita McNeil?" And as if stung by a wasp, Marianna called out from the kitchen, "If you don't know Rita, you don't know Canada. And certainly not Nova Scotia." I don't remember exactly when, but it could have been during that same visit of later one, but Marianna bought us 4 tickets for Ontario Place, a live concert by good old Rita. I'm sure this was intended as part of our Canada education. And there we sat on the grass with a picnic basket and a beautiful summer evening at Rita's concert, with Rita in the middle, to my surprise, on a revolving stage. And although Canada has lots of good musicians, I admit here in public that since that evening, Rita is my guilty pleasure. She is even on my Spotify list. After they moved back to Nova Scotia and started living on the farm, we visited the family together with my parents. It was for my mom a memorable visit. Although her sister Annie had visited Netherlands often, she had never visited Canada. The farm and surroundings were only known from photographs. And after more than 40 years, my mom, together with my father, set foot on Canadian soil for the first time. Marianne would say, "Oh my gosh, 40 years, time flies and you're not a pilot." And all those past years, Marianne and I kept calling each other, sometimes 2 times, 3 times a year. Sometimes there was a much longer time in between. It looked a bit like what our mothers used to do years ago, calling each other. And yes, we talked and we talked. And if we had spoken for a while, not long spoken for a while, I'll call her, and I always opened the conversation with, "Hello, Hilversum calling." And Marianne would answer on her typical Marianne's, "Oh hi, didn't know you were still alive." Or one time she called me for my birthday, and I was not at home, and she sang "Happy Birthday" together with Gary on my voicemail. And after a few seconds, you hear Gary laughing loudly and saying, "Let's stop this. If they hear us singing, they never come visit us again." And to be honest, to me, Gary was right. Marianna, as a member of a Dragon Ball team, suited her better than a choir. However, sometimes I wonder how that worked out, because sometimes she could also be the one who rocked the boat. More than 2 years ago, September 23, we visited Canada again. Seeing Gary's illness, we thought that it would be good to go, based on what Marianna told us about Gary's declining health. We decided to cross the ocean again because we were unsure how Gary's illness would progress. After the visit, we did not realize that this was also the last time we have seen Marianna. Naturally, after that visit, we continued to calls every now and then. I spoke to her on the phone again after a few days when celebration of life with Gary. She indicated that she wanted to calm down for a while first and only then think about the future. She was optimistic and mentioned in passing that she still had to undergo a small examination at the hospital, but it was probably nothing. The opposite turned out to be true. In the last week before her passing, we were fortunately still able to call each other and say what needed to be said. Sadly, no longer in person. What needed to be said, in my opinion, is that to me, Marianna is a survivor, an optimist, and above all, humorous. And always with eye for another. Above all, for me, she is a great example of someone who has experienced adversity in her life more than once, but does not give up and knows how to turn these setbacks around to do good for others. And for me, her last wish to be brought to the Dalhousie University for medical research to improve life for others, for me, says it all. I'm grateful that I got to know her back in '82 and that together with the other family here, we are able to continue the bond my Aunt Annie and my mother had, despite the great distance. And I'm sure we will continue to do so. Together we have collected beautiful memories that have enriched Creature and my life. It is sad that loved ones in our family are passing away, although it's in a separate part of life, and we will realize that this happened too quickly after one another in this case. But together, and by now also with the fourth generation included, since Maris and Annie started a new life in Nova Scotia, we can keep the memories alive. With stories, music, and photos or other events. What brings them back for a moment, and I'm sure will bring a smile on our face. And keeping memories alive is which we should commit ourselves to. Like the volunteers at the Canadian Cemetery in Holton, and doing so, as it says on the wall, at the entrance of that cemetery, their name lived forevermore, lest we forget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luke. Is there something you wanted to remind me of? John! Everyone? John. Take it away.
This is indeed an honor to be remembered part of the main program. My remarks are going to be much shorter than Luke's. Therefore, I may have some repetition in mind, for which I apologize, but I didn't have the chance to edit Luke's remarks before we came here this afternoon. My memory of my sister are rather scarce. I left home when I was 18, she was 16. And the only time I really saw her had anything to do was when I happened to be home for holidays or whatever. But I do remember her as being one of the most happy and positive people I've ever known. She was always upbeat, cheerful, and never seemed to have a bad hair day. She fought through a number of major surgeries, including double mastectomy and brain surgery for a benign tumor. She handled surgeries with her usual positive outlook on life and good humor. She was active in the breast cancer support group and an active participant and supporter of the Abreast a River Dragon Boat team. She was the founder and lead facilitator of the brain tumor support group. I think I need more coffee. Her nursing background allowed her to give her important support to the members of that group, helping them to understand her diagnosis and medication. After the family's relocation to Nova Scotia and Gary's health beginning to deteriorate, her strong positive outlook prevailed and helped carry the family through some difficult times. She will be missed, greatly missed.
All right, that brings us to the last person to say a few things, and that's me. Uncle John. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, where did we start? Marco, my husband. And I want to say thank you to all of I see our breast cancer, Bresta River, Dragon Boat ladies are here. Thank you for coming. And I know there's a whole table full of Aberdeen grads. Thank you for filling in as I scramble for the words again. Thank you, Lena. Really appreciate that. And I know you all know her in those roles, so I thought maybe you'd like to know, who was Marianna Hope as a mom? So I have a couple of stories, if you'll bear with me, so you can find out a little bit what it was like to be the daughter of Gary and Marianna Hope. One of our favorite things as little girls, Karina and I loved bedtime, only because Mom and Dad made it so much fun. So what would happen, Mom was the one who was like, okay, it's brushing your teeth, getting ready for bedtime. She would get us ready. I remember one time, she was like, Karina and I are waiting, because the next bit was that Dad was going to come find us. And then he would scoop us up and throw us into bed, literally. Like, we loved it. We lived for it. And so this one evening, it was the same sort of thing, but I think Mom was kind of like, let's just kind of speed this bit up. And she's like, where can you hide, girls? Why don't we go behind the sheer curtain? The sheer curtain. Karina and I, being the sharp tacks that we were like, yes, that's great, yes, this will speed it up. And I think Karina and I were like, Dad's gonna drag it out, because Dad loves this as much as we do. So Mom would go off and be like, okay, Gary, your turn. And Dad would come up and he's like, Laura, Karina, where could you be? And we're like, jiggling. We're behind the curtain. And of course he'd be like, oh, there you are. And then he'd pick us up, throw us into bed, and sometimes Mom would throw the other one because he can't do two at the time, right? So that was our bedtime hijinks. And I don't know if you all had a chance, there's a gorgeous picture of Mom over here as a clown. She wore that outfit more than once. She loved dressing up, and she would come with Karina and I and dress up as this clown. And I remember one trick-or-treating season, we went to a friend's house, Louise Wagner. I don't think Louise knew what was happening, because Mom came to the door on her hands and knees.
And raced
yes, so she, Louise opens the door, and Mom's like, ah! And she's going around in circles. I'm like, what is happening? Karina and I are like, we don't know. We just came here for treats. And then, so that was fun. Mom was good at the practical jokes. I think we all know. Yes. Another thing we always enjoyed together were camping trips. A lot of time, more so in Ontario than Nova Scotia. And there was one camping excursion we went on. And it was at the Fairbanks National Park, not that far from Sudbury, Ontario, where our good friends the Kimmets lived as well. So we got in there, we're all set up, doing the thing. That night, rained. And I don't mean just like a little pitter-patter, no, torrential downpour, torrential, to the point where it's like the water's coming into the tent, where it shouldn't be. We're all like, I think we're giving up now. So we all got in the car and we're like, we'll go to the Kimmets. And the Kimmets were wonderful. They opened their doors. Yes, we'll kid you. Karina and I were in one room, Mom and Dad in the other, dry. It was beautiful. Now, at some point in the evening, or late at night, early morning, Dad wakes up because he's got to go to the bathroom, and he's like, oh, this is a really nice tent. Marianna, look at this tent. And she's like, you like it? Yes. She's like, it's got a bathroom. No. Yes, it's the Kimmets. No. Right. He was pretty sleepy. I'm thinking that was another fun thing that we would do practically every summer, we would go to Canada's Wonderland. And if you haven't been there, it's a good time. Lots of roller coasters, and there was something for everyone. And we usually go with our good friends, the Gingriches. And this one year, we all went. I can remember Melissa and I, one of our favorite things to do, there was one roller coaster we had to start with to make sure we were good to go. And I think it was called the Matterhorn.
Yes.
Yeah, so you just basically, this roller coaster whips you around and around and around and around and around and around. So if we can get off and not be like, we're good. Anyway, so we had this beautiful day with the Gingriches, and Karina and I were just played out, which I think was the plot. And we get in the car, and it's late at night, and we're driving. Kurt and I are like, why is this taking, like, this seems really, really long. Turns out Mom and Dad had decided that they would treat us all as a family to have overnight stay at the Red Oak Inn. I'm so glad she's here. Filling in what's the word? Yes. Something maybe you do know about Mom. She can answer any question. It blew my mind. Didn't matter what Karina you could come up with, be like, topic out of the blue. Mom knew about it. I was like, great. I have the answer lady as my mom. So that was her other name, was the answer lady. Other thing that she'd probably be like, please don't tell them about this. But I'm going to tell you about this. There was one time, if you've been on the farm, it's a beautiful veranda and a beautiful sky and the view. And we were all sitting out one day, and Mom she got up to do something. And Karina and I could swear that she grabbed a fly out of the air and ate it. She's like, I did not eat it. No, we're pretty sure. You ate it.
Dad was on one side, Mom was on the other, and I was right in the front. And
Right.
there's no way I could escape. She said no. She said no. I can try. We were right there.
She ate that fly.
She ate that.
Anyway, she didn't eat. What is it? Like it's a cat to eat the fly that comes out? I don't know.
Yeah.
Another thing I think that Luke had alluded to were the infamous Trivial Pursuit nights, where we would have my parents, Ted and Linda. This is Linda. Also Dave and Linda Gingrich. And one time, I wish I had the recording for you. We decided we'd have a cassette tape, play and record, and we listened to this. And this one night, if you could hear it, all you hear is talking and laughing, and it's like, is anybody listening? Do you ladies need to leave? Yes, go ahead. I'll stop. Thank you so much for coming. Of course. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yep, not a problem. Thank you so much. No, that's all right. Thank you. Now, I won't say who it was. We're in the midst of all the laughing and the talking. Someone was trying to get out what the question was. And all of a sudden, we had a brand new word, choo-ha-ha. She's like, have you heard? I don't remember how the question goes. Karina will say it for us.
The question was just like, in what province of Mexico was,
The dog.
born? And it's like, and she said, it says Chihuahua. No.
Okay, shh. The person said Chihuahua. It's like a freaking Mother Nature. This little Chihuahua. And we've never let this person live this down. So there's that. It's not a Chihuahua. It's a Chihuahua. Now, truth be told, it wasn't always happy and go-lucky and ice cream and lollipops. We had hard times too as a family, where tempers would flare and people would argue and all the rest of it. One of the key memories I have after an argument that we all participated in, that we sat down at the supper table, and we ended up just holding hands and saying sorry. And then in good hope fashion, we started dancing around the table, holding hands. But that to me is sort of the epitome of what we would do. What you were hearing about Mom, she never gave up. As the Hope family, we never gave up. We didn't give up on each other. We didn't give up. When the things got tough, we stayed together. And so finally, I just want to say, in the words of Robert Munch in his book, I'll Love You Forever. Sorry. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my mommy you'll be. Thank you. So, thank you all for coming, for remembering Mom with us, for listening to all our stories. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm thankful that you've shared stories with us. I'm sure your mind is full of stories as well. And I just want to point out that this, if you didn't know, this beautiful quilt was made by Mom. And it's all hand embroidered, and that was a decision she made on her own. The pattern didn't come like that, but she decided to do all that. Every time she'd travel to Mount A to see me, or UPEI, she was working on this, and I just wanted you to know that she was no slouch. So thank you very much for coming. Please enjoy the food and visiting, and have a great afternoon. Thank you.
If you have not signed the guest book, would you also please sign the guest book before you leave?
Thank you.
No, I think it's time to. We're walking over here.
Hi, live stream.
Nate, say hi.
Hi.
Show us your best style.
So there's only 3 people.
There's 3 people. 2 people. I scared them away.
They're scared of us.
Ah.
Mom did say bye bye. Hi, 2 people.
The viewer retention is crazy. 3 people. Someone came back. Someone came back.
It's because of me, Sean. It's because of me. It's because of me. They came back. I think. If it goes down, it's not because of me.
Do you want to say hi to the live stream, Karina?
Hello. Hi. I look crazy. Hey. Woohoo.
Oh, look, it's a fire hall. They have pictures of fire trucks on the walls. I'll show you one. I'll show you some pictures of fire trucks. See? Those are fire trucks. I'm gonna let my mom say goodbye.
He puts your position like this. Straight up nostrils.
I remember this.
You want to say goodbye?
Say goodbye. Thanks everybody for coming in.